Okay, today we are going to start chapter number 18. It is related to cost control. So this chapter we shall be presenting in two lectures because last chapter, about estimating process that video was almost 2 hours. So this time I have divided this chapter in two parts. So inshallah, we will cover in two lectures, two recording. So first, we are going to discuss part one about this chapter, cost control. Okay. Allow me to say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to each one of you. So my dear students, we are going to discuss chapter number 18. It is about cost control. We'll go step by step with the simple things, inshallah. So cost control in construction is the process by which managers keep expenses under control by managing labor, material, and overhead cost to ensure that the project finishes on budget. Cost control relies on sound estimates and constant monitoring over the course of the project. Cost control aims at ensuring that resources are used to the best advantages. The contractor's objective of cost control of a project is to gain the maximum profit within the designated period within the budget. So I see cost control, we have different purposes for different people. For the contractor, maybe they want to maximize their profit. But for generally for a consultant or for the owner, so we have to utilize the resources, whether they are labor or material or other equipment, so all the resources in the best way so that we can maximize the advantages of the project. Cost cutting refers to measures implemented by a company to reduce its expenses and improve profitability. Some companies, when they think they are making loss, so they are going to adopt cost cutting measures, so they want to reduce their expenses and improve their profitability. Cost control procedures are put to ensure that your project costs no more than intended. Your project is not going to cost more than what is it should be. A budget study is undertaken to determine the total cost and returns expected from the project. So we are going to make a budget study at how much we are going to project is going to cost and how much return we are going to get from the project. A cost plan is prepared to include all construction costs, all other items of the project cost, including professional fees and contingency. The purpose of the cost plan is to allocate the budget to the main elements of the project to provide a basis for cost control. So we will prepare a cost plan that will include all the professional fees or contingency overheads. So then we will compare, how the project is performing. Cost plan should cover all stages of the project and will be the essential reference against which the project costs are managed. Early detection of potential cost overrun is vital to management. It provides the opportunity to initiate remedial action and increase the chance of eliminating overruns or minimizing their effect or minimizing their impacts. So it's like if there are deviations or project is away from the track, so we are going to bring the project on track, so to avoid that project should not be, go overrun or go cost beyond the limits. And it should have, the impact should be under control. So with these simple things, we'll move forward. We are going to see the project cost control system. Okay, so the impact the important 5 steps of project cost control system are shown in figure 18.1. These steps form the basis for establishing and maintaining a cost control system. So these steps are like we have this charts of cost accounts. The second, we have a project cost plan. So for our project, we will prepare the cost plan. And then third is we collect the cost data. We collect the cost data. So we take help from those project plans and documents, all the drawings, and we consider the project environment or what is the project status. So then we will collect the cost data. How will the cost data be collected and integrated into the cost reporting system? So in the cost plan, we record the actual cost and the budgeted estimate about construction plan and schedule. We compare all these things to control the cost. So then we do the cost data reporting. So we prepare the project report and relevant record, and we discuss with the management. So number last is cost engineering decisions. So see how we can minimize the cost of the project. So where we can make cost savings. So we are going to make decisions in the cost engineering. And then you use this data for future estimates also. We use this data for future estimates. So like we are going to establish all the project cost control system comprising on these major 5 steps. Step 1 is charts for cost account. Step 2 is the project cost plan. And step 3 is the cost data collection. Step 4 is project cost reporting, and then cost decision making, cost engineering. It's a 5-step project cost control system that we need to implement on our projects. Now, see, we have we make establish cost controls. So we are going to divide the project into significant control units, each consisting of a given type of work, like in this figure. We are going to divide the project into cost control units. Each account is then assigned a code known as a cost code. Okay. So say for example, we have in this figure 18.2 is like clearing and grubbing cost code is 100, and there is the rock excavation 105, backfill is 105, rock excavation is 104, and steel sheet piling is 121. And similarly, there are others, like 240, they have sub cost codes also. Say for example, for footing is 240.01, grade beams 240.05. Similarly, for columns is 240.11. For walls is 240.12, and similarly others like precast concrete is 245, reinforcing steel 270, structural steel is 280, masonry is 350, and paving 620. Similarly, project administration 700, and then project office 702. So 705 is guards for the protection of the project. 721 is drinking water. 722 is sanitary facilities. 725 is first aid facilities. and 795 is drawings, 950 is for equipment. Okay. So this is like we are going to divide the project into significant control units to control the cost. So each account is then assigned a cost code. We call it a cost code, you know. So we divide our project into number of typical project cost accounts. So this is like a table 18.2 gives the master list of project cost accounts. So with this, let's move forward. Now we are going to establish a cost coding system, you know, cost coding system. So a variety of cost coding system exists in practice. A master format classification of cost coding system published by the Construction Specification Institute, CSI, is shown in table 18.1. So this is like a cost coding system. So this table major divisions of CSI master format according to 2014. See table major divisions like is 00 is procurement and contracting subgroup. So procurement and contracting requirement. General requirement group is 01 general requirement. Then we have facility construction subgroup. In this we have not like existing conditions. Concrete, number 4 is masonry, 5 is metals, 6 is wood, plastic and composite structures, 7 is thermal and moisture protection, 8 is opening, 9 is finishes, 10 is specialties, 11 is equipment, 12 is furnishing, 13 is special construction, conveying equipment, 15 to 19 they are reserved for future expansion. So according to 2014 master format, then we have a facility services subgroup. In this table is 20 is reserved for future expansion, 21 is for fire suppression or to control the fire, 22 is for plumbing, 23 is heating, ventilation and air conditioning, 24 is reserved for future expansion, 25 is integrated automation, 26 is electrical, 27 is communication, 28 is electronic safety and security, and 29 is reserved for future expansion. So then another group is the site and infrastructure subgroup. Site and infrastructure subgroup. So these are the major divisions of the Construction Specification Institute master format. Total like 49. So number 30 is site and infrastructure subgroup. 30 is reserved for future expansion. 31 is related to earthwork. 32 exterior improvements, 33 utilities, 34 is for transportation, 35 is division 35 is for waterways and marine construction, 36 to 39 reserved for future expansion. Then 40 is process equipment subgroup. Process equipment subgroup. 40 is process interconnections. 41 is material processing and handling equipment. 42 is process heating, cooling and drying equipment. 43 is process gas and liquid handling, purification, storage equipment. 44 is pollution control equipment. 45 is industry specific manufacturing equipment. 48 is electrical power generation. 49 is reserved for expansion. So this is like all the major divisions of construction specific master format, how we divide the project into 49 divisions for preparation of our the specifications and material handling, and divide whole project into major divisions. So we prepare the book of specification according to these headings. So this is again cost coding system continue. So a portion of the second level of details for classification like 0 to 3 is shown in figure 18.3. Now this figure 3 is 0 is conditions of the contract, and one is general requirement, two is site work, three is about concrete. So those codes, we go into sub like at second level detail for those codes. So say for example concrete, they say it's concrete form work, and then concrete reinforcement, cast in place concrete, heavy weight concrete, lightweight aggregate concrete, post tension concrete, specially finished concrete, specially placed concrete, precast concrete, precast concrete panel, precast structural concrete, precast precessed concrete. So like number three, I have read a couple of things at the second level of details for the classification for those cost coding system. So now let's see as we move to the project cost code structure. CSI master format code as used by RS means building construction cost that identifies four levels of details. An example of which is shown in figure 18.4. Okay. So this figure figure is this one. So like 0, 3, 11 concrete forming. Okay, so how this detail is being described at the first level and second level and third level, fourth level and fifth level. So we are going to see this in the previous slide. Like long and complex codes in excess of 10 digits such as 13 digit is shown in figure 18.5. So this code defines the following items. Okay, so first is just 1 4 is means 0 3 year in which the project was started. Okay. So year in which the project was started. So it's like 2003. Then the 0311 is assigned to concrete forming. So 11 is sorry, what is the first two digits like 03 apply to all concrete items. Okay, first so CSI master format code as used by RS means building construction costs identify four levels of details. Okay, an example of which is shown in figure 18.4. So first two digits like 03 apply to all concrete items. Okay, and then 0311 is assigned to concrete forming. So 11 is the second level is going to make a concrete forming. Third level is for many types of concrete forms. Okay, so many types of concrete form like 1 3 is for a structural cast in place concrete forming. Structural cast in place concrete form 1 3. So fourth level adds to two-digit decimals like 13.25. It refers to form in place columns. Okay, form work concrete forming forms in place for columns. Okay, so fourth level add to two-digit decimal refer to forms in place columns. So RS means add four digits in fifth level. In four digits in fifth level, like here is given 5,000. Okay, 5,000 at the fifth level. So what it describes in whole this 0311 13.25 and 5,000 is at the fifth level. So it's a complete description of the item is 0311 13.25 5,000 for structural cast in place concrete forms made of plywood and used once for job built 8 by 8 inches columns. So this is the meaning that we are going to see from this project cost code structure. Uh, so because once we know this cost codes and we then try to control the cost within those cost codes, So with this, we move forward to the next one. So project cost code structures. Okay. So next we are going to discuss just simple things. Project cost code structures. So this also is shown in the next slide. So this one, like how is going to make like 1.4 is the project starting 2014. So 1.15 is project number, and 5 is representing project type, which means a power station. 16 is like boiler house. 2 is for foundation area. So similarly, if we go back, so long and complex codes in excess of 10 digits, such as 13 digit, is shown in figure 18.5. This code defines the following items. Okay, so year in which the project was started. Okay, year in which the project was started. So 1.4 indicate that one. Then project control number is 1.5 in the next slide. 1.5. Project type is 5 is for the power station. Area code is 16. 16 for boiler house. Functional division, 2 indicating foundation area, 2 indicating a foundation area. And general work classification like 0 to 10. So 0 to 10, general work classification represents site clearing. Site clearing. And distribution code 6 for construction equipment, 6 for the construction equipment. Okay. So this is the like description for all given for this number. And similarly, whereas 1 is going to represent labor, 2 is permanent material, 3 is temporary material, 4 is installed equipment, 5 is expendables, 6 is construction equipment, 7 is supply, 8 is a subcontract, 9 is a indirect. So classification of accounts for project cost code structures. Now we see for the next is we are going to see if there is a integrated project management. So how we will see these cost code are going to affect the collection of time and cost data based on work packages has led to the term integrated project management. Okay. The WBS and work packages for control of a project is shown in figure 18.6 on the next page. This figure 18.6 project cost control metrics. Okay. So how we are going to explain this? The project is subdivided into systems. Okay, so project is subdivided into systems. Systems are further subdivided into discipline like civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, this way. And then the lowest level indicate physical items. Say, for example, physical item is foundation 1 or foundation 2. So then work packages are called control accounts. The responsibilities are shown in terms of tasks such as concrete, framing, or earthwork. Like we see here, this is like we divide the project into systems, maybe foundation, electricity, piling, mechanical, civil, and then these tasks are going to be explained responsibility in terms of earthwork task, concrete task, or framing task. Okay. So under the foundation is foundation 1 or foundation 2. Typical work packages are defined as concrete task on foundation 1 and earthwork on foundation 1 and 2. So then we put this for foundation earthwork for foundation 1 and 2. Okay, and similarly concrete task for foundation 1 and concrete task for foundation 2 or foundation 3. So, and similarly, we are going to, in a three-dimensional integrated project management can be expanded to a three-dimensional matrix by considering the resources to be used on each work package. Like here we have the work package. So then work breakdown, and then this is task responsibility, and here we have the resources. Okay. So resources for work packages, resources can be like this is a craft labor or permanent material use, construction material, construction equipment, small tools. So these we can think the resources in three-dimensional figure 18.7 for the cost account for integrated project management. And similarly, in the next figure, they are going to explain like, for example, typically if we take the scheduling work package as shown in figure 18.9. So scheduling is like for concrete task. Scheduling is shown. This is the schedule for this subtask work packages. Okay. So we divide the project into systems, and under the system into foundations or electricity, piling, mechanical, and then here on this responsibilities breakdown structure to project manager, general supervision, piping superintendent, electrical superintendent, civil superintendent, and then these are subcontractors. So we divide these work tasks as earthwork task, concrete task, framing. So on foundation, maybe foundation 1 or foundation 2 or foundation 3. So then we put scheduling for this concrete task, how much time it is required for this work task. Okay. So here, this we discuss how we make cost account for integrated project management. Now it's because we learn about how we make the cost codes, our project cost control system, our cost accounts, and then at the second level cost account, and then we see how we are going to divide the project master format. We how we prepare the specifications in different divisions. So, but the important thing is that to cost influence curve. This slide shows the cost influence curve. Cost influences more at the planning and design phase of the project. So, see, on x-axis we have a start of the project, so project timeline, okay, until completion. And this side is progress 0% to 100%. So ability to influence cost, okay. So it's more ability to influence cost is planning and design stage. We can change the project that our ability is more to influence the cost. And so cumulative curve go this way, this is the like cumulative project cost. Okay, this shows the cumulative project cost lower and higher until completion. But ability to influence cost or change the cost of the project. So we have in the beginning stage, like the planning and design phase, we have the maximum ability to influence the cost of the project. As we move forward towards the completion, so our ability to influence on the cost of the project is going to reduce. So cost influence is more at the beginning and design phase of the project. And similarly here, cost of changes. Cost of changes is less in the beginning. As we move towards completion of the project, so cost of changing the project or make changes in the project or variations. So if we want to change the design or something, so that is, in the beginning is to make those changes, cost is less. But as we move forward, so cost is too much to make changes, so it means we have to dismantle or we have to make a lot of changes in the project, and there will be a lot of wastage, So this is like on the y-axis, they show the degree, low to high. And similarly, for stakeholders influence risk and uncertainty. Okay. So stakeholders, they can influence more in the beginning, and as the project progresses towards, so their influence is also going to reduce. Uh, if we so similarly, cost of changes is less in the beginning, and it's going to increase as we move forward towards the completion of the project. Okay. Now, cost control in construction. This we are going to discuss. Cost control can be achieved by selecting the right man for the right job, the right equipment and tools for the right work, and right quality of materials in the right quantity, from the right source at the right place and delivered at the right time. Managers are expected to be well equipped to execute the project with due consideration to the quality of work, yet within the estimated costs and limits. So this is like, we have to put right people for the right job. So cost control, so by this way, so managers should be, they should be equipped with how to execute the project and how to control the cost. Okay. Now, project resources and cost control. So project, if we can control the cost of the resources. So what are the resources? Like resources input at the project site that produce output in the form of work includes what are the resources: manpower, men or manpower, materials, resources, machinery, and money. So we can control the cost in all these resources. Okay. So what they say is, money is the greatest cause of delay in ongoing project is generally due to late release of money by the client. So if the clients are going to pay delay, they are going to make delay in the payment, in the monthly progress payments. So then that will create a lot of problem, and that will delay the project. Client attention on this issue is very important to control the cost. Okay, so meaning client should pay to the contractor on time, monthly, without any delay. Then material is very important. One of the big problem on most building sites is the large amount of material wastage. Okay, so there is a lot of wastage. Material wastage revolves around requisitioning and ordering. When we order the material and when we receive the material, or checking of deliveries from the supplier. So when we check the deliveries from the supplier, so there is a wastage, or offloading and handling process. So there is sometimes in the storing and protecting. Okay? So there is a wastage, and issuing those material again to the site. Okay, distributing and use of those materials. So there are wastage is going to occur. Managers need to take steps to avoid wastage of materials. And this is very important. If we have to control cost, we should control the wastage in materials. A theft and pilfering of material can also be safeguarded. So we should have employ a full-time security guard. There could be an alarm system should be installed, and site should be lit up at night. Okay, so there should be like proper lighting, not dark at the site, and there should be alarm system in the storage, so that no one should touch at the night time. So we have to put a security guard, and that material should not be stolen. Again, plant and equipment cost. In construction, some tasks are labor intensive, but some employ equipment and some use a combination of both, like equipment and labor. Equipment and productivity control is undertaken to determine its employment time, output achieved, and its productivity at site. The purpose is to minimize wastage in utilization so that the overall project cost is not affected. Okay. So contractors are encouraged to adopt the use of machines, equipment, as it has the advantages of speeding up the work, saving labor, producing better quality work, and are economical in a number of cases, besides being able to do what can be done manually. Once brought to the site, those machines should be maximally utilized, as any redundant time can lead to high cost. Okay, so it should not be like equipment standing idle on site, and they should be utilized properly. Okay, so it is also encouraged that contractors should utilize maximum equipment, so that it could speed up the project and save the labor and bring better quality to the project. Now, regarding the labor, cost of labor is of the order of 30 to 40% of the project cost goes to the labor. Labor productivity achieved at site for a given work provides a measure of the laborer's efficiency and effectiveness and the level of site organizations. It shows that the total time for which the laborer was employed at work, the time he was productive on work, and the time he remained unproductive. So productive times are wasted for various reasons such as idle waiting, unnecessary traveling, late starting the work by the laborer, early quitting by the laborer, unscheduled breaks, and delay to receive material and work instructions. Delay in receiving materials and work instructions. So labor is just waiting. So we have to manage labor properly. Close supervision and good working relations are helpful in improving labor productivity. Okay, so we should monitor, have a close. Uh, okay. So again, we have to control cost in subcontracts. Okay, subcontractors cost. Good subcontract cost control is simply good communication. Good subcontract cost control is by good communication. All problems in subcontract cost control are caused by poor communication. To improve the communication between the prime contractor and its subcontractor, one may pay attention to the following, like should have a clearly define the subcontract scope of work. Okay. Actively solicit bids. So when they are submitting the bid, subcontractors, so the bid evaluation or bid, advertisement and bid submission. So all this process should be in a good way. Analyze all aspects of each bid. Okay. Document the subcontract agreement. Hold pre-job meeting. Hold weekly subcontract coordination meeting with the subcontractors. Identify the key contact people, okay, of the subcontractor. Inspect all subcontract work. Okay, and the prime contractor check those work done by the subcontractors. Analyze subcontract cost performance. Okay. So what they say is usually prime contractor generally pay the subcontractor 7 days after receipt of payment from the owner. Okay, that's the general practice. Like the prime contractor, they pay back to back. When they receive the payment from the owner, they pay to the subcontractors. The subcontractor need to control costs of their subcontract. Okay, so subcontractor, they are responsible that they should be able to complete their subcontract according to their agreement. Now again, we can adopt number of cost control techniques. One is like we schedule control or work program control. Okay. Contractor use schedule to monitor progress and financial performance. It is good method since work progress can be measured and related to cost. Okay, so these are like different techniques that we can use in controlling the cost. So first one is schedule control or work program control. Inspection of work. Okay. Inspection of work and comparison made with the budget. Okay. So we should inspect and see the comparison make with the budget. So uh, then third technique is the project budget. Okay, cost attached to responsibilities centers with work target to be accomplished. It is used in relation to schedule and make it the best tool for cost control. So project budget, how much is the project budget? Are we building the project according to the budget? So how is our actual cost on project, whether that is are we making profit or not? Site meetings. Meetings held to review the progress of work and compare to the monetary allocations. Good as it provides some motivation to workers and all stakeholders are up to date on performance of work. So this is like all stakeholders and workers, they become up to date with the site meetings when we ask them that we have to control the cost. Another technique for cost control is record keeping. Documentation of activities carried out to enable early detection of deviations from the set standards. Monitoring work. Another technique is monitoring work and cost performance. Client, consultant, and contractor use monitoring tools of schedule. They monitor the schedule, the budget, and inspection and feedback to keep a watch on the cost performance. The last technique what we can use for cost control is evaluation of work carried out. Quantification of works and comparing with the cost in the bill of quantities. Inspection was also reportedly used to evaluate work. This helped to ascertain that the progress of work is on the right track. So evaluation of work carried out. So we have to quantify the work, compare the cost in the bill of quantities. So then inspection, inspect to evaluate the work. So this is like to keep our progress on the right track. Okay, now we discuss another topic is project cost management. While cost management is viewed as a continuous process, however, it is comprised on 4 steps. Okay, project cost management it comprises on 4 steps. Project resource planning. First one is a project resource planning. It is the process of identifying the resources required to execute a project and take it to the completion. How we are going to complete the project. So what resources we need for the project. Okay, then after once we identify the resources, then as we prepare the cost estimate. Number 2 is cost estimation. It is the process of quantifying the cost associated with all the resources required to execute the project. Following information are required for this, like what are the resource requirement that we have identified in step number 1, project resource planning. So price of each resource, okay, we should price of each resource, staffing cost per hour, or vendor hiring cost, or service procurement cost, material rate per unit, etc. So price of each resource, okay. Then duration that each resource will be utilized, okay. What are the potential risk? Past project cost and industry benchmarks, if any. So we should consider this, what are the past project costs and what are the industry benchmarks while putting our profit or something in the estimation. So company's financial health and reporting structure. Okay? So in the cost estimate, we have to consider a company's financial health and our reporting system. So how much should be our overheads or indirect cost, profit margin, things like this, while preparing the estimate. Now, once we have the estimate, so we are going to make it cost budgeting. Cost budgeting can be viewed as part of estimation or as a separate process. Budgeting is the process of allocating cost to a certain part of the project for a specific time period. Budgets include overheads and profits. budgets include overheads and profits, and contingency services reserves allocated, contingency reserves allocated to manage unexpected cost. Budget create cost baseline against which we can continue to measure and evaluate the project cost performance. So budget, they will provide us the baseline against which we will measure the performance of the project. So it means in the budget, we have to include direct cost, indirect cost, overhead cost, and then the profit. Then once we have this like a bid price, so we should apply the cost control. Cost control is the process of measuring cost variations from the baseline and taking appropriate action, such as increasing the budget or reducing the scope of the work. Whether we have to increase the budget or we have to reduce the scope to complete the project on time or according to the budget available. Along with the cost baseline, the cost management plan is essential input for cost control. This plan contains details such as how project performance will be measured, what are the deviations, what deviations we can, like earned value method we can apply is one of the most popular approach to measure cost performance. Okay. So in the second lecture, we will discuss all about earned value method, how we are going to use this to control the project cost. Okay. So bid, we have discussed these things in chapter 2, like bid package, and then also when we discuss cash flows, project cash flows, we discuss about direct cost and indirect cost. And similarly, in chapter 17, also estimating process, we have discussed about direct cost and indirect cost. So you can see these things in detail over there in chapter 2 or chapter 12 or chapter 17. But here it's just like a summary is project bid is equal to, this is our like a contract amount. Okay. So this is a comparison on project cost and our markup or gross margins. Okay. So what it mean when we say project cost? It means direct cost direct cost and indirect. Like direct cost is cost of material, labor, cost of material, labor, and equipment. Okay. So then indirect costs like site office cost, engineers cost, vehicles. So then we have overheads, overhead cost, and then it's a profit. Okay, so how much profit margin from the contractor side? So this will make our bid. Now this, we have the cost and project life cycle. So this is we prepare the based on the bid price. We prepare the S curve. So this is cumulative S curve. Now what this is on this side is the percent complete. On x-axis there is the stages of the project, stage 1, stage 2, 3, and 4. Like stage 1 is initiation, starting of the project. Stage 2 is planning and detailed design. Stage 3 is construction period, like execution of the project, monitoring and control of the project. Stage 4 is the completion or operational stage of the project. So see, it's a cost control. We can go make project decisions, in the beginning, if we want to change the design or, modify, or we want to, how much budget we have for the project. So we can make changes in the beginning. And then as we move forward, so then there is a cost will increase to make any changes in the project. But this curve like shows the planned value, and we will discuss inshallah in the next like this is also curve shows the budgeted cost, like the baseline curve or the planned value, and then we have the actual cost of work performed, like the money is spent on the market-based price to build the project, and then is the budgeted cost of work performed, like EV. Earned value is based on our planning and how much percentage of work is complete, so we can claim payment from the owner. Okay, based on our work done, how much percentage of work is complete. So and here at this date of analysis, so at this point we will see what is our planned value and what is our actual value and what is our earned value. Okay. So inshallah in the next slides we will discuss this in detail in the second part of this lecture, how we are going to control the cost control, by applying the earned value method on our project. So in this we learn how we have to control cost or cost coding system, then cost accounts, cost coding system by the Construction Specific Institute, like 49 divisions for preparing our specifications and managing these items step by step. And then we have divided to second level. Just we put only 0 to 3 examples. So in then we have this project cost control structure, project cost code structure, and we discuss cost account for integrated project management, how we apply it, then how we can cost influence is more at the planning and design stage. Cost of changes is less in the beginning of the project, and it's going to increase. So these kind of things and then we discuss how we are going to control costs in construction. So we control the resources like money, material, plant and equipment, like machinery and labor. And then how subcontractor, how we are going to control costs in our subcontracts. Then we discuss some techniques that we can apply to control the cost, inspection of work, site meetings. Okay, so this like record keeping, evaluation of work carried out. So taking on board all our team members, workers who are working on site. Then how we control project cost management. So it's a 4-step process of doing a project resource planning, cost estimation, and then cost budgeting and cost control. Okay. So then we discuss what is our bid and what is our cost and project life cycle, and then our planned value, and then we will discuss inshallah in the next slide in more detail about this earned value method. Okay. Earned value management method for controlling the cost of the project. So with this, gentlemen, we are going to stop here, inshallah, and we will continue with the second part of this topic, inshallah, and we will discuss the earned value method. Okay, earned value method, inshallah. With this, allow me to say, to close this lecture is, we will say, inshallah, كفارة مجلس سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Thank you very much for your attention. See you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.